Let's talk about the worst mistakes you could possibly do in Blitz, and most of them are actually quite easy to avoid. Number 1. Counting on support. Actually, this is what so many people are doing in Blitz. We are so used to it, we aren't just expecting our teammates to work with us, and then we are surprised if it doesn't work out. But in reality, we're not having any great teammates. Our teammates are always pretty average. I mean, that's just the average player who is just having 50% win rate, who just decides what to do, which is going to work out like a coin flip. Either it works, either it doesn't work. They are just doing some random stuff, basically. And people are just either moving forwards or they are camping based on pretty much no actual information. It might be the right thing, it might not be the right thing. So don't trust on them to do what they are supposed to do, because they are mostly just not aware of what is right for them. So just try to work with your team. Don't try to count on some good teammates. You're not there to have good teammates in Blitz. That's not what it is about. Blitz is about carrying bad teams, not having good ones. And even if you try commanding your teammates, it won't really change that. People might have the chat deactivated and they might just not care about it. They have some very different assumptions of what to do. Even in a top level tournament team, if you're playing without voice chat, without communication, there are 7 different minds who have 7 different plans. So adjust your own position so that you have the support of your teammates, and also adjust your position in a way that you can support your teammates in return. Before getting to the next point of the video, I recently got approached for some very nice deals for you guys. You can actually get a 1.8 euro discount on any purchase above 7.2 euros if you're using the AppGallery from URY after you claim the coupon in the link down below. Also, they have a 4.2 euro coupon for purchases above 27.9 euros. You do get 10% cash back for every single purchase on the AppGallery, and for every 10 euros that you spend there, you get a lucky draw that has a 1 in 7 chance of getting a tier 10 certificate, which is actually a great deal. Check out the link for that in the description or in the comments below. Number 2. Camping. I know, this is something that some of us already hate when people are doing it. Others are just liking to do it because it seems so easy to get good damage numbers. But the point is, if you're camping, you can only shoot those enemies that are making mistakes. Those enemies that are moving past half the map, basically. And those tanks are, of course, then easy to shoot, and it might be great for the start. But that might not grant you the win, because you have to shoot the most relevant targets. You have to shoot those tanks that your teammates are also fighting. If you're not focus firing, then your teammate, for example, might be in a 1v1 on the one side and you are shooting someone completely different because you're not having your eyes towards your teammate just because you're too far away. So if you are not having shots while you are camping, you should definitely also move. You can start with camping, but then move if you are just needing to help your teammates. You have to keep that in mind, that you are a mobile tank that is not meant to sit in the back, even the weakly armored TDs. After all, Blitz is not about dealing damage, but destroying tanks. Only that gets you closer to the wins. Number 3. Doing the same mistake twice. If you are fighting someone to the front and you are taking some damage, so they are actually having the advantage. For example, they have more armor, or there is some TD camping behind that opponent that you are fighting, and then you peek out again for a second time and lose hit points again. That is your fault then. That is honestly something you could have avoided and that you should definitely not be doing. So don't do it. That is as easy as it gets. Just try to seek out for some different opportunities. There are always more opponents to fight and there are different positions that you can take. If something is not working out, you have to find something else that you can make work. Some position where you actually have an advantage, where you can maybe have a weaker opponent to your front, or where you can just avoid taking the shots from that camping enemy in the back. As a sub point to that, just don't count on the enemies to do the same mistake thrice. I mean, that they are doing the same mistake twice is not too unlikely actually, as long as you're playing against the average player and are not in a tournament match against some pros. But the enemies won't do the same mistake over and over and over again until they are dead. You can expect that. So if the enemies have done the same mistake, then don't expect them to do the same thing and just also try to seek out for some different opportunities. I'm usually always just counting down from 10 seconds maybe to just see, okay, if the enemies are peeking there again in the next 5 seconds or so, then I'm going to shoot them. Otherwise, I will already have something in mind what else I can go for. Because if that enemy to the front actually disappeared, got unspotted, then they might already be killing your teammates while you're still busy staring at the same spot. Number 4 is quite similar here, insisting on the 1v1, also a horrible mistake. Many people think that they just have to fight against that opponent to the front wherever they are, whatever is there. And that simply does not work out reliably. You have to keep in mind that you have to fight with an advantage, meaning that you are either having the better tank than the opponent to the front, or you are having multiple teammates against one. So don't fight the 1v1. There are always different opponents, there are always different opportunities. Think about where you have the advantage and go just there. And I know a lot of people are sometimes YOLOing me because they think, okay, if I just kill this one guy, then I'll actually have done some net damage and I will have some kill, and that's going to be worth it even if I die for that. But if you trade one tank for losing one, well, that is not a good deal. That only gets you to 50% win rate, and you want to get above that, right? So you need to kill at least 1.5 tanks. You need to do more than just taking out one if it costs your life. That is not a smart trade. On to the 5th and the last point for this video, starting with a bad mood. My worst sessions ever were not because my teammates were horrible, but because I started when I was tired, when I was hungry, when I was just simply not in the mood for playing, and I still wanted to game. I mean, sometimes we all know these sessions where you're just like, okay, I feel like gaming, I'm not in the best mood, but I still think we can do something. But the problem is, if you are not focused, if you're not awake and alert, then you are tunnel visioning a lot. You're just seeing the opponent to your front. You're just doing all the mistakes that I mentioned earlier. You are not paying attention to your surroundings. You are not even aiming in because you're lacking the patience. You are just rushing your shots, you are driving around carelessly, you are suddenly getting surprised by some enemy shooting your sides, pushing you. Sometimes your teammates are going to the entirely different side of the map and you don't even notice about it until you get pushed, and suddenly you get angry about your teammates not helping you, you get angry about the opponents pushing you, and you are just fed up with the game. We've all been there, I guess. But that is just very avoidable if you are making sure that you are always in a good mood when starting to play. I mean, just don't even start the game if you are not feeling like you can focus on the games, unless you are fine with having some bad games as well. And sometimes, of course, you're just running out of energy. Just take a break then and make sure you're able to do something else. Maybe just have a cup of tea or just have some biscuits or whatever, and maybe you feel better afterwards. Just take a 5-minute break and get back to it when you are having the focus again. If this video helped you, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out my previous videos about guides and tips on Blitz. Good luck on the battlefield.